Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Love Chat with the Love Twins. I am Gladys Diaz. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. Tonight, we've got a really cool topic. They're all cool because you're the ones who choose them. You let us know what it is that you want us to talk about, the questions that you have, the things that are coming up, whether it's in dating, love, relationships, communication, anything at all that you want us to talk about. That's what we listen and then we bring it to Love Chat with the Love Twins. And tonight we're talking about rewiring your nervous system and how that is the key to creating real lasting love. And maybe you're wondering, like, why? What does my nervous system have to do with a relationship, with love, with being able to create lasting love? And you're going to learn about that tonight. The main thing is because you cannot separate yourself from your nervous system. Like, literally, if you do, you're not here anymore. And so having an empowered, one of the things that Michelle and I do, I say it's not even what we do. I think it's one of the biggest gifts that we give the women who work with us is the ability to have an empowering and empowered relationship with your thoughts, with your emotions, and with your beingness. And when it comes to thoughts and emotions, those are being driven primarily by your nervous system. So I want to dive in today. I've got a lot that I want to share with you. Let me go ahead and see who's here. Let me go ahead and see who's here. If you're here, say hello so that I know I'm not just talking to myself, because that's just A, that's weird. And B, it's really not what I'm committed to. So if you are here, go ahead, put it in the chat, and I will actually, not sure why I don't see it, but I know that we're also here on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you leave something in the comments. Let us know in the comments what you're hearing for yourself, what questions come up for you as I go through tonight's love chat, and what questions you'd like us to answer in the future. All right. So, okay. I see my people are here. Hi, Valerie and Helene and Rhonda, Maria, everybody else who's here. Thank you. It just feels weird when I feel like I'm talking to myself. That's a sign of a not great nervous system. You're always talking to yourself. All right. So let's jump in. So one of the main things that I want to start off by saying is that tonight's topic, it's about more than mindset, because I think some of the things that you'll hear have to, yes, absolutely do with mindset. They also have to do with the biology, like your biology, and how everything is connected. Your mind, your heart, your spirit, your nervous system, it's all connected. It's all interconnected. And so when we have a breakthrough in one area, we have a breakthrough that just spills over into all of the areas. So if you're here, if you're watching, hey, Veronica, if you're tuning in, whether it's on replay, on YouTube, on Instagram, I know a few things about you already. One is that you're probably somebody who's done a lot of work. And not because I hope it's not because you think you're broken. I hope you're not trying to fix yourself or what you think is broken, but you've done work to move yourself forward. Possibly you've read books, you've journaled, you've come to our events, you've created a love vision. So it can sometimes be confusing, and depending on how you're wired, your programming is, maybe sometimes frustrating, or it feels hard. Like, why does it still feel like something's blocking me when it comes to my love life? So, and especially if you've done like the love vision work, and you're like, okay, I'm writing my affirmations, I'm listening to myself read my love vision aloud 3 times a day. Like, those are the things that first, if you've never done a love vision, make sure you stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you about what's coming up next in our world. But the love vision is essentially, it's the vision that you have, not for the man, because then you're putting all your power in a man being able to give you what you want. It's in the experience that you want to have in the relationship of your dreams. And we teach you a process for really being able to not manifest that, not out of woo-woo-ness, but out of true-trueness, because it's so ingrained and it's so aligned with your values, with who you are, with your real identity, not maybe the one that's been given by your past. So one thing that's important before we dive in is to know that you don't attract what you want. You attract what your nervous system feels safe receiving. I'm going to say that again, because for some people, the nervous system just went blank, right? You don't necessarily attract what you want. If you're here, you're watching, you're listening, I know that you already want to be in a happy, loving relationship. You attract what your nervous system feels safe receiving. If your nervous system doesn't feel safe receiving love, it will do subconsciously do things to quietly sabotage your love life. Now you might be saying, well, why wouldn't I want to receive love? Well, because for many women, it's unfamiliar. A safe, peaceful, healthy, loving relationship where there's not a lot of drama, where it doesn't have to be hard, where it doesn't feel like a struggle, feels foreign. It's unfamiliar. And so the brain and the nervous system are wired to send off alarms when something is unfamiliar. It feels scary. Well, the brain is also wired where if you're scared, that means you're in danger. And if you're in danger, you must avoid danger. You must flee from it. So some of what you've been experienced could very well be your own nervous system, your own biological, neurological wiring saying, oh my gosh, everything that I want, even if I could get it, would I be able to keep it? Could I handle it? Will I recognize it? Will I sabotage it? Like all of those things could be happening. Okay. And I'm just going to do a little bit of science before we start. Okay. So when your nervous system perceives love or vulnerability, like letting the walls down, as dangerous, it overrides your conscious desires. Right? That's what I was just saying. Now, here's the thing. If you've experienced trauma, and trauma can go from smaller traumatic incidences, like even like forgetting I'm going to give a very common thing, forgetting your lunch money one day and you couldn't have lunch. That is a traumatic experience. It creates trauma. Your parents forgot to pick you up one day from gymnastics or softball or whatever. That could create a small trauma, right? And then there are bigger traumas where there's different types of experiences, abuse. I can't name them because I don't want to be taken off of Facebook or YouTube, but bigger types of traumatic experiences, even a car accident can leave a traumatic imprint. Okay. And so something that some people think is just part of life, even chronic stress, being under consistent chronic stress can dysregulate the system, the entire nervous system, especially, and I know who I'm talking to, high achievers who have learned to go after it, where you've been taught to lead and not necessarily receive, where if something's going to get done right, it's got to be done by me, meaning I don't trust other people to be able to do it. All of those things are wrapped up in what I'm talking about right now. Okay. So when vulnerability, intimacy, connection comes into your life, if you are not wired to receive it, you're wired to resist it. Okay. So that's why today's love chat is so important. So some common self-sabotaging patterns that are rooted in nervous system dysregulation include pulling away when things get emotionally close, right? So maybe it starts to look like this actually might turn into something, or the guy is calling often, calling when he says he's going to call, making plans to see you a week or two in advance. A self-sabotaging thought might be, oh, this person's too needy. He's just like, he's desperate, or, why is he like, it just feels suffocating. Right. But it's just because there's actually somebody, unlike the other somebodies, who's actually wanting to be on your radar, be on your calendar, have your time and attention, but it can feel unfamiliar, uncomfortable, and subconsciously unwanted. Okay. Now, some of you might say, well, I'm not the one who's afraid of getting emotionally close. It's the men. There was a conversation about this in the Heart's Desire Sister Circle, our Facebook group. Well, I'm so tired of all of this ghosting. Now, if you're wired to resist instead of wired to receive, then you might actually be attracting men who are emotionally unavailable, incapable, uninterested in intimacy and connection. And then you'll have the experience of being on the other side of it, where it's like, why does everybody that I meet pull away? Why does everybody that I meet ghost me? Why do they disappear? They start off strong and then they disappear. So remember, we're talking about being wired to receive versus wired to resist. Okay. Another self-sabotaging pattern could be losing interest in kind, consistent men. Maybe it comes across as boring. If you've consistently been in relationships, including your childhood, the relationship that you saw between your caregivers or that you experienced with your parents or caregivers was constantly like this, really high, really low, really high, really low. Those are dopamine hits, even if you and adrenaline hits. And even though you don't want it, right? When it comes down, right, the upward trend, it gives the nervous system some sort of a high, right? And so when a man comes along who's consistent, who's kind, who is integrous, he does what he says he's going to do, he shows up, there's no drama, it can feel boring. And now you're like, well, there's just no spark. I'm just attracted to the bad guy, right? Or, is it the bad guy? The cool guy, whatever. It's the inconsistent guy. Let's call him what it is. Right? And so we don't bash men here, but there are just some men who aren't ready. And most of them are not lying about it. They're like, I just want a casual thing, or, let's just see how it goes. Let's have it go with the flow. But I'm just giving you some real world examples so that you can go, one of them is going to go, oh my gosh, that's exactly me. That's what's been happening to me. So attracting passive men or emotionally unavailable men over and over again, meaning at least 2-3 times, you're in a pattern. Get curious. Just like if you had an allergic reaction, you get curious about, what did I eat that is causing this? Or was there a dog? Was there a cat? Was there something in the air? Same thing. When something has happened 2, 3, 4 times, you don't just want to pretend like this just keeps happening to me, right? And then overanalyzing, because I also know that in this beautiful, beautiful community, there are so many overthinkers, overanalyzers. Serves you incredibly well if you're an accountant, or you're in IT, or you're somebody who like sorts through data and you're data mining, right? Doesn't work so well when you are in a relationship and you're overanalyzing, overthinking everything you said, everything he said, everything you might say, everything he might say 3 weeks from now. I'm not exaggerating. Am I exaggerating? I need some audience participation here. You're overthinking and overanalyzing and predicting what's going to happen. I said 3 weeks, some of you 3 years. I didn't feel any sparks. I don't think we're going to get married, right? That kind of thing, right? So all of these things are what gives you, they're just some very common self-sabotaging patterns. Now, another form of self-sabotage doesn't sound like it, but I want to say this because I thank you, Cindy. Thank you for being there with me, girl. It's like there's a little bit of a delay, so sometimes it takes a bit, and plus you have to type your answers, right? So here's another one. When something starts to feel like it's too good to be true, it's going so well that you're actually afraid, and you can't understand why you're so afraid and why you're so anxious about it, but it's because it feels like it might be too good to be true. That means that your nervous system hasn't yet felt safe in love. So love still feels like something scary, dangerous. Don't get your hopes up. Let's see, what are some other things? Don't get your hopes up because you're going to be disappointed, right? I hear these things all the time. Well, what about if you got your hopes up and you just anticipated being delighted? Neither one of them is true, but one is a heck of a lot more empowering than the other, right? So, and then, like I said before, the attraction to chaos, where you're constantly in the fight or flight chemistry. The parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, I'm not going to get that deep into it, but I want you to know that the sympathetic nervous system is that fight or flight, right? It's what mobilizes you for protection. So you run before they do, you leave before they do, or you attract emotionally unavailable men so that then you have a reason to leave, right? The parasympathetic nervous system is the one that has you freeze or fawn. So freeze, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. You don't know what to say. Somebody says something to you and you literally go blank and almost like you're not even there. Fawn means you get super attached to the person. You fawn over them, right? And then there's that's something that Michelle and I see very commonly in our work, is that there's this early attachment. And I know there's all different types. There's avoidant and all this stuff, but this is the person who very quickly stops dating other people, stops talking to other people, because now this is the person, that's it. And then you will do everything that you can to make sure, or that you can, or that you want to make sure that this is it, including ignoring red signs. I did a a love chat. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago on that. So make sure you join our YouTube channel. We can drop the link so that you are so that you subscribe, because Facebook now takes Facebook lives down after 30 days, but our YouTube channel is forever. All right. So I wanted to talk about that, a little bit of the research, a little bit of the science. And so what are some of the signs, right? Some people said, that's me. 9 months into our relationship, I struggle with the inclination to run away. It's just a nerve. It's just the wiring. And when you rewire to receive versus to resist, then even if it feels uncomfortable, you're going to have the opportunity to see, okay, this is why it feels uncomfortable. I'm just living in an imprint. This is not me. This is just old programming that's kicking in. And it's unfamiliar because I haven't had enough experiences. What if I give myself experiences in this safe relationship? So Valerie, you can ask yourself, what specifically feels unsafe, so that you're creating a pattern interrupt where you're switching off the urge to run, and what specifically is dangerous right now? And you'll be looking for it and you won't find it. And then if you say, well, I just feel like he loves me too much. Oh, well, let me stop for a moment and let me shift into receiving. Receiving this is not dangerous. Right? Let me just receive it for 5 minutes, right? Receive it for 10, and then you keep extending the period of time that you can receive, that you're willing to receive. So Cindy said, I try not to get my hopes up. I used to do that. I was shocked recently when he texted me after over 2 months. I'm not sure what that means, Cindy, but maybe it was somebody who disappeared. I don't know what the details are, and you don't have to share them here, but if you haven't scheduled a love breakthrough session, we'll tell you how to do that in just a bit. And yes, it's not you, it's your old programming. But if you don't know how to reprogram, rewire, then guess what keeps, it's just like your computer. If you're on Windows 7, right? I think I just heard yesterday that Windows 10 is going away. I'm like, I don't know who's freaking out about that, but I'm sure somebody is, right? If you're running on Windows 7, why are you upset that you can't do the things that Windows 12, I don't even know what they're up to now, it can do, right? It's just you don't have the programming. Saying it's not me, it's my programming is definitely the pattern interrupt. Then you've got to learn, okay, how do I now rewire myself for receiving versus resisting love? Okay. So if you pull away, if you lose interest in those kind, consistent men, if you're not allowing yourself to really, I do this because it's not just the receiving. If the love is coming at you and it's bumping up against the titanium wall you put around your heart, even if it's invisible, right? One of those shields that they have in sci-fi movies. If the love's trying to come at you and you don't learn how to open your heart, your mind, your life, right? Your life gets to receive love too. Then you're stuck behind that invisible wall thinking that you're not meant for love, or you're not meant for this relationship thing, or relationships happen to other people but not you. So I want to give you some real world, real life practices that you can use to bring yourself to a place where, at least if you're in the spiral of the chaos, of the dopamine, of the the adrenaline, of the stress, of the anxiety, of the overthinking and the over analyzing, that you can bring yourself to a place where at the very least you can get back to baseline, where you can ask yourself the question, like I said to Valerie, like, what specifically is dangerous here, right? So first thing, this is something that is with you always, because if it's not with you, you're not here anymore. It's your breath, right? So there's different types of breathing. There's breathing that you get to be trained in doing, but I want to go ahead and give you a couple of breathing ways to breathe. The people in our programs are going to be learning more about the somatic nervous system, somatic breathing, and all of that things. We're bringing that, all of those things. Michelle and I are bringing it into our community. But here's one common breathing technique. So the first thing that you can do is, if you are in a place where you can do this without it impeding your safety, your like actual physical safety, not your imagined fear safety, then go ahead and do it with me, where you'll inhale for 4, hold for 7, then exhale for 8. What you've done is you've actually engaged your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Now, when you're focused, right, you're being intentional, you're like in control on the inhale. And then if you just really, now if you're forcing the exhale, which I know some yoga practices, no, if you just allow the exhale, now you've engaged both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So you can actually, you do that, I'm not going to, if you do that a good 5 times, it is impossible for you to be in the same state that you were, because when you are in a highly like triggered state or emotionally flooded state or just imagine fear state, you will notice that you are breathing more shallow. Your heart is pumping, your hands are sweating a lot of times. And so when you breathe and you're intentionally breathing, all your energy attention is going to the inhale, the holding, and the exhale. It is like a hack. You're biohacking your nervous system. Okay. So that's one thing that you can do. Another type of breathing that's very, very common is the box breathing, which this one might be easier to remember. So do it with me if you can, right? If you're in a place where it's safe to do that, you just inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. So you notice how it's intentional. I'm going to inhale for 4. Now I've got to bring consciousness and awareness to 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. My energy is going to intentionally breathing. So it's, even if it's just for a few seconds, I have biohacked it, disengaged it from the spiral. And again, now your heart rate is coming down, your nervous system is calming down. You're going to be much more able to make a decision, a choice, and think more clearly, not overanalyzing, just think more clearly and intentionally if you're breathing and you're actually causing your nervous system to relax. Okay. So you can use this before a date, before you get online, right? For online dating, for those of you who are doing that, breathe. For goodness sakes, breathe. Breathe. Some of you don't realize how often you are either breathing very shallowly or you are holding your breath, right? And that our bodies are not meant for that, right? You want to have that beautiful circulation of breath. And when you're breathing intentionally while you're reading, let's say, the relationship of your dreams, or you're right before you get online, you create your powerful intention for who you are being and who you are attracting into your life. You're not going into the spiral or the swirl, like I call it, right? The spin cycle. Okay. So you can use that before going online dating, before going on a date. If you get emotionally triggered during a date or a conversation, breathe. Just breathe. Right now, don't be so obvious that the other person knows that they're irritating you. Like, you just like breathe so that you can, it's about you. It's for you. Okay. Another thing is called orienting or grounding yourself. So this is where the somatic breathing and bringing attention to your body can be combined with the breathing. And so you can just notice, like, what I just did right now when you saw me move is I uncrossed my legs and I made sure I put both of my feet flat on the floor, and I'm putting attention on that. So I feel grounded, especially if you feel emotionally unstable or you kind of got a news that kind of took you out of your place of peace. You can notice, ground your feet, and then say, where are my feet? My feet are on the ground. How do my feet feel? Like right now, as soon as I started to say that, I felt tingling in my feet and in my shins, right? I'm bringing energy and attention. You might feel something in your fingertips. You might feel something around your heart as you take a nice deep breath. So pay attention to your body, where it is and how it's feeling. And then you can also remind yourself, I'm safe. I'm here. Right now I'm in my office. Right now I'm sitting in the chair. Right now my feet are grounded on the floor. And right now I choose love. I choose love right now. I choose to be it. I choose to receive it, choose to see it, allow it, receive it into my heart, into my life. Okay. So that would be a grounding exercise. And then one that we do a lot here in Heart's Desire is touch, right? So you can self-soothe, and this is called somatic resourcing. So you're using your somatic. Soma is the skin, okay, is the body. So one that we do often a lot in Heart's Desire, especially if we're coaching somebody and they're all up in the swirl, we're like, okay, close your eyes and put your hand on your heart. And I tell people when they're in a very, very flooded state, you know what, if you can put it underneath your blouse so you can actually feel, notice, those of you who have seen me do it are now going, oh, that's why she was doing it. Notice how you can feel your skin under your fingertips, and you probably can feel your heart beating underneath your hand. And now what I'm doing is I'm helping that person get in touch with themselves and their body. And all of a sudden there's a lot more clarity. Like if I was asking them a question, they're like, I don't know. Okay, let's close your eyes, drop from your head into your heart, put your hand on your heart, see if you can touch your skin. Can you feel your heartbeat underneath? Now all of a sudden, all of my attention is coming to my heart, which is where my dreams and desires live, but I'm also regulating my nervous system. Some people will they feel stress. I'm putting it here, right? Like they feel stress in their stomach, in their digestive system. Some people feel it in their neck. Some people feel it in the back of their neck, right? You can place your hand where you feel it and bring peace. Like speak peace, speak love, speak receiving into your heart. All right. The other thing that especially if you're experiencing trauma and you just want to bring it, or you're in a highly emotionally flooded state, this is a very soothing. Paul McKenna does this all the time, where he says, just rub your arms. Your parents used to do this to you, right? Maybe, right, if you had loving parents, but it gives you a feeling of safety. Everything is going to be okay. I'm safe. I'm in my office. Love is already all around me. It is safe to open my heart to love. It is safe to receive love. It is safe to give love, right? And so this is a very soothing, somatic resourcing. And then what happens whenever you touch is that you're releasing oxytocin, which is like, let's just call it the kryptonite or the antidote to the adrenaline, the dopamine, the cortisol, which is one of the hormones that's released under stress. Now I'm releasing oxytocin, which is it's a bonding hormone. It's a love hormone. And it can also spark serotonin, so that now I am in a more peaceful, receptive state. Okay. So all of this is scientifically proven. You can definitely read all the books. I'm a brain and nervous system junkie, so I'm reading 3 books right now. One is about the nervous system, one is about manifesting, what is a prize, right? And one is just one that I am reading, not necessarily for fun because it's a historical biography, but I like to read some things that don't have to do with work, so that I am making sure that I'm balancing. Actually, I'm reading 4 books because then I also have my devotional 5 books because I read the Bible. So I'm reading 5 books at the same time. But my point is that there's so much out there about the importance of breathing and connecting to the body. Everything that is a trauma, everything that is great and everything that is traumatic is stored in your body. And so when you can learn to connect with your body and your breath in order to bring peace, to bring love, to bring power, empowerment, then you are biohacking your nervous system. Okay. And when you do that, when you have a nervous system that's regulated, you will naturally attract that which is a vibrational match for peace, for love, for calm, for certainty, right? So you want to be a magnet for the things that you want to feel, that you want to create, that you want to manifest, that you want to experience. So you're going to naturally attract men who are aligned with that too. You don't want to attract chaos just because you've had chaos for most of your life. You want to attract peace. You want to attract love. You want to attract that which is a match for what? For you, for your love vision, for your values, and for the energy that you're emanating. The energy that you radiate is the energy that you attract, right? And remember, we're wiring ourselves for receiving versus resisting, Okay. What also happens is that your body will stop interpreting consistency and calm as boring. So you will get excited by consistency. You'll get excited by peace. You'll get excited by consistent love, right? Somebody who's there, who says, who does what they say they're going to do consistently, perfectly. No, because unless you're going to, I don't even want to say it, but AI is out there. You want an AI boyfriend, you want an AI relationship, maybe. But if you want a real relationship, there's going to be ups and downs. The thing is that you want there to be a heck of a lot more ups than downs, and you are part of creating that, right? What you attract into your life is a reflection of who you're being and how you are feeling, and so you want to make sure, and the energy you're radiating. And what the other thing that happens when your nervous system is regulated and you're consistently not just managing but mastering this, then you learn to trust yourself. You trust yourself to choose, you trust yourself to receive, you trust yourself to stay open, even as love starts to deepen, right? Even as it starts becoming more and more of what you want. So speaking of that, there are so many ways that you can get connected, not just to a quick 20-minute uh, love chat, which I love doing this. I don't even remember when we started doing it. I think it's been years. I looked at it the other day. Yeah, it's been many years that we've been doing this almost every single Tuesday. Sometimes we have to show replays because both of us are not available. But um, when your body feels safe, love stops feeling like a risk. Love stops feeling like danger, and it starts feeling like home. And if that's what you want for yourself, if that's the kind of, not just the kind of love you want to create, but also the kind of life you want to create, the kind of career you want to create, then you want to make sure that you are plugged in and tuned in to us so that you're able to do that. Give me just a second. My it's my son's birthday. Give me just a second. Hello. Live TV. Okay. Sorry. It's well, I'm not sorry that it's my son's birthday, but he said he wanted something special for dinner. I ordered it for him before. Hold on.
Gladys, you're still muted.
Oh, I'm not on my computer. I'm not. Hello? Hello? Um, I don't know how to fix this. Hello, hello? Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Andrea's saying she can hear me. Okay. So Diane, I don't know why you can't hear me. Sorry. So it's my son's birthday, his 22nd birthday, and he wanted something special for dinner. I ordered it for him, and the DoorDash guy is telling me that he can't find my son. So I'm trying to manage being a great mom and a great coach at the same time. And this is what happens. So let me just tell my son to call this man. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Um, so funny. Let me tell him. Oops, I'm calling him by mistake. Okay, somebody, yeah, I'm breathing. Literally am not agitated. So here's what you can do. Well, thank you for all the birthday wishes. I'll make sure I take screenshots and send it to him. But here's what I would love you to do. Please put in the chat what is standing out for you, because I'm about to tell you how you can really get in touch with us and be able to. Hold on, Nico, honey, everybody's saying happy birthday. I'm gonna text you now. You need to call the DoorDash guy. You need to text him. He can't find you. And he speaks Espanol. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. My son's gonna end up without his birthday dinner. But I would love to hear, what are you hearing for yourself inside of this? Because we have a bunch of events that are coming up. You're going to be hearing about them probably starting this week. One of our biggest events is the Irresistible Woman Live. How many of you are already going to the Irresistible Woman Live? Tell me if you already know that that you're coming. Put IWL. If you got a bonus ticket, if you got a VIP ticket, if you're coming to IWL, make sure you put that, because I am going to give everybody a link that you can use to, if you have never had a love breakthrough session. But I know in the depths of my heart that one of the best events that we put on every year is the Irresistible Woman Live. We're having an incredible sale right now. And then we're also going to be doing some challenges and some master classes. But if you've never had a love breakthrough session, then you absolutely positively want to make sure that you do that. So let's put that first, Diane, if you can hear me. I know you were saying you couldn't hear me, but if you can hear me, I'll know you can hear me because I'll see the link in the bottom in the chat. So the love breakthrough session is for somebody who's never had a love breakthrough session before, and you want to speak to one of our coaches about, how can I put this into practice in my life? How can I start wiring myself for receiving love versus resisting love? Okay. That's for the people who have never had. And by the way, if you're new to our community, hello, welcome, and thank you for being here, for trusting me, and for dealing with my mama moment. So that conversation, besides just how can I do this, is if you're interested in working with us, we have different programs. A lot of the women who are here are in our programs, and those programs are designed to not have this be a 20-minute like moment, right? A 20-minute session, which I hope you'll watch and listen and share. Please, if this is valuable for you right now, somewhere on your screen there's a little arrow for you to share this. Share this with people who girlfriends, sisters, moms, cousins, who co-workers who are struggling when it comes to love, and it's probably a nervous system dysregulation issue, because once you get regulated, then you can receive, right? So the love breakthrough session is for somebody who's never had that conversation and is interested in having a conversation, not just how do I do this, how do I learn how to do this over time so it becomes permanent, so the shifts, the transformation are permanent, and I can attract the right person into my life so I can have a happy, loving, calm, connected, intimate relationship. And then, for those of you who are, I know there's several of you coming to IWO, but only one person took the coaching, took the invitation to put that in there. It's really important that you're there. If you have not, if you're not coming yet, or you don't have a ticket yet to the Irresistible Woman Live, I'm just going to give you the heads up since you're here early. The prices right now are at early bird pricing, and they absolutely are going up. And so you always want to get in on early bird, because we also give you tons of bonuses. We never just give you a ticket to an event. You're going to get tons of bonuses. So I don't know if we have a link that we can share right now. I know that if you go to Attract, I'm just going to give you this is what you get when you show up live, right? You can go to attractyourlovenow.com, Attract Your Love Now. I'm going to go there right now just to make sure that the special is still up there. Let me see. Oh, yes. You still get it. That price that you see on attractyourlovenow.com, that price is not going to be there. That is crazy low. So get on over to attractyourlovenow.com. Grab your ticket to the Irresistible Woman Live. So for those of you who are scheduling your love breakthrough call, you want to do both. You want to do your love breakthrough call, so you're talking to one of our love breakthrough coaches, learning what's in the way and what you can get out of the way so you can create the love you want. And then you want to already plan to be there for the Irresistible Woman Live. And you can see there's a ton of bonuses on this page that some of them are also going to go away. So, and I'm just being honest with you. Okay. I'm being honest with you because then people say, well, when I was on there, it said, this crazy low price. I don't even want to say it because somebody might go in a half an hour from now and it's not going to be that price because I got to tell my team. But look at all the bonuses. You get additional calls. You get some hot seat sessions. You get to bring a friend. So that girlfriend that you thought of about the dysregulated nervous system, oh my goodness, like bring her with you so that you can both come to the event together, learn together, break through together, create the relationship of your dreams together with amazing men. And then there's a recording of one of our best master classes that you also get as a bonus. So if you've never had the love breakthrough call, you want to do that. And then you also want to go to attractyourlovenow.com. That's attractyourlovenow.com for the early bird pricing. I'm telling you, it's going to go away. There's one thing you know about me is that I tell the truth, and that is the truth. All right, so let me see. I heard, so Cindy, make sure you do both, because if you've never heard about it before, you might be new to our community, and welcome. So I see rewiring my nervous system to have more experience of what I want, so I feel safer. That was a takeaway. Yes, Kim, you can see this replay here on Facebook, but they take it down after 30 days. So if you want to see it on repeat, just go to our YouTube channel. Just look for Heart's Desire, INTL, in YouTube, and you will find this replay there as well. They might edit out the part with my son. DoorDash is calling me again. Give me just a second. This is too much. Oh my gosh. Good customer service. All right. They just wanted to make sure the food was delivered. Okay. So I see I attracted that, but now I want to integrate it into my nervous system. So you've attracted, Valerie, what you want, and now you want to integrate it into your nervous system. And, you've got Michelle and myself here in a pod. Like, my invitation is that you request more support so that we can be there for you, because there's so many things that we can be doing to make sure you're in such a beautiful relationship. That's such a contrast, right, to the other relationships that you've had. All that's happening right now is that you're adjusting to being loved beyond your wildest dreams, which is what happens when women do our programs. So those of you who want more of that, definitely make sure that you connect with us. Let me see what else. A lot of you needed this. I'm so happy that you needed this. Breathe is a takeaway, 100%. Anything else, Cindy? No, it's a virtual. The Irresistible Woman Live is a virtual event for now. And so before, women had to fly from all over the world: Israel, Spain, Germany, France, the Bahamas, Jamaica. They came from everywhere. And you could only experience it if you were with us in Fort Lauderdale. Right now, it's still this year. It's still virtual. That may change. So I would absolutely jump in on this crazy price with all those bonuses. Are you kidding me? Yes, yes, yes. All right. And I'm so, so glad. I know we had a few interruptions. That's what happens when you have a regulated nervous system. I didn't skip a beat. years ago, I would have been horrified. Like horrified about, oh my God, I'm on camera. I literally told the lady, well, you're on camera with me. She was laughing. The lady who called to make sure we got the order. So you just get to live life where you are experiencing life, love, happiness, peace, prosperity, health, abundance, joy, everything that your heart desires, because that's what you were wired for. You may have received or created wiring that has created resistance in your life, but now we get to rewire for love. All right. So go ahead. You've got lots of opportunities. You can, if you've never had a love breakthrough session, click on the link for the love discovery session. If you have not gotten your Irresistible Woman Live ticket yet, go to attractyourlovenow.com before I tell my team to change that price. That's on there right now. And then you can also always reach out to us. The best place to do that is in our Facebook group, the Heart's Desire Sister Circle. You can send me a private message on Facebook, and you can also, if you receive our text messages and our emails, then of course you can always reply to one of those. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, your attention, and until our hearts meet again. Always remember that you are loved and you get to wire for love. Bye for now.